It was a cold evening when Daniel first noticed the cat. He had just finished a long day at work and was walking down a quiet alleyway near his apartment. As the light from the street lamps flickered, he saw a small, scraggly figure huddled near a dumpster. The cat was clearly astray, its fur matted and dirty, and its eyes wide with fear. Daniel had always been an animal lover, and despite his exhaustion, something pulled at his heartstrings. He couldn't just walk past. He knelt down cautiously, making soft cooing sounds to let the cat know he meant no harm. For a moment, the cat watched him with distrust, its tail flicking nervously. But Daniel's patience paid off. Slowly, the cat inched closer, sniffing the air as if weighing the situation. With a final hesitant step, it let out a small mew and nudged Daniel's outstretched hand. It was a sign. With care, he scooped the fragile creature into his arms, feeling its trembling body against his chest. It was clear that the cat had been living rough for quite some time, and the harsh winter was no place for an animal to survive on its own. As he walked back to his apartment, Daniel couldn't help but wonder what had brought this little creature to him. Was it fate, or was it just a random act of kindness that would change both their lives forever? When he reached his apartment, Daniel settled the cat into a makeshift bed he had set up in his living room. The cat, though initially wary, seemed to relax, curling up in the soft blankets. Daniel could tell the cat was starving, so he quickly prepared a bowl of food, hoping the meal would soothe its nerves. As the cat ate, Daniel observed it closely. It was clear that the cat wasn't just physically wounded. There was a deeper sadness in its eyes, a loneliness that seemed to mirror his own. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The image of the stray cat haunted him. He had always been a solitary man, consumed by his work, and never really feeling a connection to the people around him. But with this cat in his life, there was a strange comfort. He realized that, much like him, the cat had been abandoned by the world, left to fend for itself, without a place to call home. Days passed, and Daniel took the cat to the vet for a thorough checkup. The doctor confirmed what Daniel had feared. The cat was malnourished and had likely been living on the streets for a long time. It had a few minor injuries and a mild respiratory infection, but nothing too serious. The vet prescribed some medication and assured Daniel that with proper care, the cat would recover. As the cat healed, Daniel started to notice a change in it. The once fearful, skittish animal began to show signs of trust. It would follow him around the apartment, curl up beside him on the couch, and even climb onto his lap for pets. The bond between them grew stronger each day. The cat, whom Daniel had named Shadow because of its quiet, elusive nature, began to reveal its true personality: playful, affectionate, and full of curiosity. It wasn't just a stray anymore. It was his companion, his friend, but there was something else. Daniel began to notice strange occurrences happening around the apartment. It started with little things: objects moved out of place, the sound of soft paws padding around when no one was there. But soon, the incidents became more peculiar. One evening, Daniel came home to find his apartment door wide open, despite the fact that he had locked it when he left. He thought maybe he had forgotten to secure it, but the more these strange events happened, the more unnerved he became. His friends, who visited occasionally, also noticed odd things: lights flickering on and off, strange cold spots in the air, and a lingering feeling of being watched. One night, as Daniel sat alone on the couch, Shadow hopped up beside him. The cat's eyes locked onto his, and for a moment, they just stared at each other, as if communicating silently. Then, in an instant, Shadow darted off the couch and ran to the corner of the room, where an old wooden chest stood against the wall. It began scratching at the chest, its claws raking across the wood in an urgent, frantic manner. Daniel watched in confusion, unsure of what was happening. After a few moments, Shadow stopped and looked back at him, as if beckoning him to open the chest. Curious but apprehensive, Daniel approached the chest. It had belonged to his late grandmother, and for years he had kept it sealed, unsure of its contents. His grandmother had always been a mysterious woman, known for her odd superstitions and tales of family secrets. As Daniel opened the chest, he was struck by a strange, cold breeze that seemed to escape from within. Inside, wrapped in faded cloth, was an old, ornate mirror. At first glance, it appeared to be a beautiful, antique piece, nothing more than an heirloom, a reminder of his grandmother's time. But as Daniel lifted it out, he realized that something was off. The glass was strangely reflective, not in the way typical mirrors are. It felt alive, as if it held something more than just the image of the room in front of it. The cat, now sitting at his feet, seemed agitated, its tail flicking nervously. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. Was this mirror the source of the strange happenings? Was it somehow connected to Shadow? As he gazed into the mirror, he saw something that left him speechless, his own reflection, but not the one he knew. The reflection of himself was standing at the door of the apartment, staring at him with eyes full of fear, as though warning him of something lurking just beyond the threshold. Suddenly, Shadow leapt onto the chest, hissing at the reflection in the mirror. The air grew thick with tension, and Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. What had he brought into his home? What was Shadow trying to tell him? As the cat stared intently at the mirror, Daniel's mind raced with thoughts of his grandmother's cryptic warnings about the past. Could it be that this stray cat, this seemingly innocent animal, was somehow bound to the strange forces surrounding the mirror? The more he thought about it, the more Daniel realized that rescuing Shadow had not just saved the cat, it had opened a door to something far more mysterious, something connected to his family's past. And just as his grandmother's stories had hinted, some things should never be uncovered.